The mockery of Earth. The grand crystalline spires of Centaurus Prime pierced the violet sky like daggers of pure light. Within the central tower, the Galactic Council chamber resonated with the harmonious hum of anti-gravity fields, a testament to the Naga hegemony's technological supremacy. For over 10,000 years, the hegemony had dominated the known galaxy, its influence stretching across thousands of star systems, each populated by species that had learned to bow before their might. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the center of the vast chamber, her human form dwarfed by the towering alien delegates arranged in concentric circles above her. She wore the formal blue and silver uniform of the United Earth government, her posture rigid with determination. Today marked humanity's first formal petition to join the Galactic Council, a moment that would define Earth's place in the cosmos. The chamber fell silent as Supreme Executor Kralvex, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell, initiated the proceedings. His voice echoed with the weight of millennia. The primitive species from Sol 3, designated humans, seek admission to our august assembly. Ambassador Chen, present your case. Sarah activated her holographic display, showing Earth's achievements. Esteemed members of the Council, humanity comes before you not as subjects, but as equals. We have achieved nuclear fusion, quantum computing, and preliminary faster-than-light communications. Our space stations orbit. A harsh, metallic laugh interrupted her presentation. Delegate Zorkath of the Vraxian Confederacy, his 6 arms gesturing dismissively, spoke with undisguised contempt. Equals. Your species still fights among itself over resources. You pollute your own atmosphere. You've barely left your solar system. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Sarah maintained her composure, though her hands clenched at her sides. Yes, we have our challenges, but humanity's strength lies in our ability to overcome them, our diversity of thought, our creativity. Creativity. The melodious voice belonged to Ambassador Lyria of the Celestial Harmony. Her translucent form shimmered with amusement. You mean your talent for violence. We've studied your history. World wars, genocides, endless conflict. The hegemony has no place for such barbarism. Sarah's jaw tightened. She had anticipated resistance, but the level of disdain caught her off guard. With respect, Ambassador Lyria, every species has evolved through conflict. What matters is how we've grown from it. Humanity has united under one government. We've established colonies on Mars and Europa. Enough. The deep, resonating voice of Emperor Zarthax himself silenced the chamber. The ancient being, whose consciousness spanned multiple dimensions, manifested as a swirling vortex of dark energy. The humans amuse me with their delusions of grandeur. They speak of achievements that our children surpassed eons ago. Sarah stepped forward, defiance burning in her eyes. Your Majesty, I implore you to look beyond our current limitations. Humanity has accomplished more in centuries than some species achieve in millennia. Give us a chance to prove ourselves. The Emperor's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. Prove yourselves. Very well, human. When your species develops true faster-than-light travel, not your primitive warp experiments, but genuine tachyon propulsion, perhaps we will reconsider. Until then, return to your backwater planet and continue playing with your chemical rockets. Laughter echoed through the chamber as Sarah was escorted out. The humiliation burned, but something else kindled within her: determination. As her shuttle departed Centaurus Prime, she sent a coded message to Earth. Project Prometheus is go. They want tachyons. We'll give them tachyons. Deep beneath the Himalayan mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. James Rodriguez stared at equations that defied conventional physics. The theoretical framework for tachyon manipulation had existed for decades, but practical application remained elusive. Until now. Sarah's message just came through. His assistant, Dr. Maylin, announced as she entered the lab. The council rejected us. Rodriguez didn't look up from his calculations. Expected. How bad? They laughed us out of the chamber. The Emperor himself mocked our primitive technology. A slight smile crossed Rodriguez's face. Good. Arrogance makes them predictable. He gestured to the massive particle accelerator that formed the heart of their facility. Want to see something impossible? For the next 3 months, teams across Earth worked with unprecedented coordination. The humiliation at Centaurus Prime had united humanity like never before. Resources flowed freely between nations, old rivalries forgotten in the face of a common goal. Operation Phoenix Rising was born. In orbit above Earth, the skeleton of humanity's first true warship took shape. Unlike the blocky, utilitarian designs of current spacecraft, the UES Prometheus was sleek, almost organic in appearance. Its hull incorporated metamaterials that bent light and radiation, while its power core housed something that shouldn't exist: a stable tachyon reactor. The mathematics are sound. Rodriguez explained to the gathered world leaders via hologram. Tachyons move faster than light by existing in a state of negative mass. We found a way to create a bubble of reversed spacetime around our ships. Inside the bubble, normal physics applies. Outside, we can move at speeds that make light look stationary. President Elena Volkov of the United Earth Government leaned forward. And the weapons systems. Tachyon pulse cannons. They fire beams that arrive at their target before they're fired. From the target's perspective, the enemy will be destroyed before they even see us attack. A collective breath was drawn. Humanity had not only matched the hegemony's technology, they had surpassed it. 6 months after the rejection, as Rodriguez initiated the first test flight of the Prometheus, sensors across the galaxy detected something impossible. A ship moving faster than physics should allow, leaving ripples in spacetime itself. On Centaurus Prime, automated systems flagged the anomaly, but the warning was dismissed by arrogant overseers who believed such readings must be errors. Tachyon drive engaging in 3, 2, 1. The Prometheus vanished from Earth orbit and reappeared instantly near Jupiter, then Mars, then back to Earth. The impossible had become reality. In the command center, Admiral Katerina Volkov watched the successful test with grim satisfaction. Begin full production. I want a fleet of 50 ships within the year. The hegemony wanted us to prove ourselves. Her smile was predatory. We'll exceed their wildest expectations. Across Earth, shipyards worked around the clock. The United Earth Fleet took shape. Not the crude vessels the Council had mocked, but elegant predators of the void. Each ship bore names from human mythology: Phoenix, Prometheus, Artemis, Valkyrie. Their crews trained relentlessly, mastering tactics that exploited their technological advantage. When Emperor Zarathax received reports of unusual activity in the Sol system, he barely glanced at them. The humans build more of their primitive vessels. Let them waste their resources. His dismissal would prove to be the hegemony's greatest mistake. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Phoenix, now wearing the uniform of a fleet liaison officer. Through the view screen, she watched Earth recede as the fleet prepared for its first deployment. The hegemony had sent a monitoring force to observe human activities. In reality, a fleet meant to intimidate Earth into submission. Admiral Volkov, she said quietly, they're about to learn what happens when you mock humanity. The Admiral's expression was stone. All ships prepare for tachyon jump. Let's show our guests what primitive humans can do. As the hegemony fleet approached Earth's outer system, their sensors detected multiple contacts. Commander Vexlor of the hegemony dreadnought Supremacy smirked. The primitives dare to meet us in space. Prepare a warning shot. Let them see what real power looks like. Before he could give the order, alarms blared across his bridge. Ships were appearing and disappearing faster than their sensors could track. The human fleet moved like ghosts, striking from impossible angles before vanishing again. This is impossible. Vexlor screamed as another hegemony cruiser exploded. No species has tachyon technology. On the Phoenix, Admiral Volkov watched the battle unfold. Target their flagship. Show them what human ingenuity can achieve. The Phoenix materialized directly above the Supremacy, its Tachyon cannons firing. The Hegemony Dreadnought's shields, designed to stop conventional weapons, offered no protection against beams that arrived before they were fired. In seconds, the pride of the Hegemony fleet was reduced to expanding debris. As the remaining Hegemony ships fled in panic, Sarah Chen activated a wideband transmission. "This is Ambassador Chen of Earth. Take this message to your Emperor. Humanity has proven itself. We're coming to renegotiate our membership." The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Tachyon breakthrough. 3 years had passed since humanity's rejection by the Galactic Council, and Earth had transformed beyond recognition. The planet that the XL Naga hegemony had dismissed as primitive now bristled with orbital defense platforms, each equipped with Tachyon weaponry that could strike targets before they even appeared on conventional sensors. The moon had become humanity's primary shipyard, its cratered surface now home to massive construction facilities that worked ceaselessly to expand the United Earth fleet. Dr. James Rodriguez stood in the observation deck of Research Station Prometheus, watching as the latest Tachyon drive underwent its final calibration. The original breakthrough had been refined and improved upon countless times, each iteration pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. The station itself was a marvel of human engineering, a sprawling complex hidden within the asteroid belt that served as the nexus of humanity's technological revolution. Phase variance is within acceptable parameters, Dr. Madeline reported from her console. The new drive is showing a 30% improvement in efficiency over the Mark IV. Rodriguez nodded, his eyes never leaving the test chamber where reality itself seemed to bend around the active drive core, and the temporal displacement. Negligible. We've managed to synchronize the Tachyon field with local space-time to within a nanosecond. No more temporal echoes. The breakthrough had come at a cost. The first test pilots had experienced temporal displacement, arriving at their destinations seconds before they had departed. Some had gone mad from the paradox, their minds unable to reconcile the violation of causality. But humans adapted, as they always did. New training protocols were developed, pilots were selected for their ability to handle temporal dissonance, and the drives were refined to minimize the effect. Admiral Katerina Volkov entered the observation deck, her presence commanding immediate attention. The woman who had led humanity's first victory against the hegemony had become a legend, her tactical genius matched only by her understanding of Tachyon warfare. "Admiral," Rodriguez greeted her, "the Mark V drive is ready for field testing." "Good. We'll need every advantage we can get." Volkov's expression was grim. Long-range sensors have detected a hegemony armada massing near the Kentaurus sector. 300 ships, including their newest dreadnoughts. "They're coming for us." Madeline stated the obvious. "They're coming to put us in our place," Volkov corrected. "The Emperor can't allow our defiance to stand. It would undermine the entire power structure of the hegemony." Rodriguez pulled up a holographic display of the approaching fleet. "With the Mark V drives, our ships will be even faster, more maneuverable. But 300 ships. We have 97, Volkov finished. But we have something they don't, human creativity." She turned to face them fully. "I need your team to implement the quantum entanglement protocols we discussed. If we can link our ships' Tachyon fields, we could create a fleet-wide tactical network operating faster than light." Rodriguez completed the thought, his mind already racing with the possibilities. Ships sharing sensor data and coordinating attacks instantaneously across any distance. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the XL Naga Armada advanced with the ponderous certainty of an empire that had never known defeat. Supreme Commander Calthor, a veteran of 1,000 campaigns, reviewed the tactical data with contempt. "The humans have built more ships," his tactical officer reported. "Our spies report they call it the United Earth Fleet." "United Earth," Calthor scoffed. "As if unity could save them from the inevitable." "What is the status of their forces?" 97 vessels of unknown classification. They appear to use some form of advanced propulsion, but our analysts believe it to be an elaborate deception. No species develops tachyon technology without centuries of research. The Supreme Commander's 4 eyes narrowed. The humans are clever with their tricks, but tricks won't save them. When we arrive, we will blockade their system, destroy their fleet, and reduce their civilization to ashes. The emperors will be done. On Earth, emergency sessions of the United Earth Government convened as the threat became apparent. President Elena Volkov, cousin to the Admiral, addressed the assembly with characteristic determination. Citizens of Earth, we face our greatest challenge since unification. The hegemony comes not to negotiate, but to destroy. They cannot accept that humanity has achieved in years what took them millennia. She paused, letting her words sink in. But they have made a fatal error. They judge us by their standards, not ours. In the shipyards of Luna, the United Earth Fleet prepared for battle. The ships were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Sleek vessels that seemed to flow rather than fly, their hulls incorporating metamaterials that bent space itself. Each ship was named for concepts of rebirth and defiance. Phoenix, Prometheus, resilience, defiance, indomitable. Captain Maria Santos stood on the bridge of the UES Indomitable, running through pre-flight checks with her crew. The tachyon drive hummed with barely contained energy, reality warping slightly around the edges of her vision. All systems nominal, Captain, her first officer reported. Quantum entanglement network is online. We're linked with the fleet. Santos nodded, feeling the strange sensation of being connected to every other ship in the fleet. Thoughts, tactical data, sensor readings, all flowed seamlessly between vessels faster than light itself could travel. Admiral Volkov's flagship signals ready. The communications officer announced. Fleet-wide transmission incoming. Volkov's image appeared on every screen in the fleet. Warriors of Earth, today we face an enemy that believes our destruction is inevitable. They come with 3 times our numbers, with ships that have conquered 1,000 worlds. But they have never faced humans. They have never faced a species that turns impossible into routine, that makes reality bend to our will. Today, we show them why humanity refuses to kneel. The hegemony fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, their massive dreadnoughts arranged in perfect formation. Supreme Commander Cal Thor surveyed the human fleet with disdain. They dare to meet us in open space. Signal all ships, standard suppression formation. Let us end this quickly. As the hegemony fleet advanced, their sensors suddenly went haywire. Human ships appeared and disappeared randomly, their positions changing faster than the speed of light should allow. Sensor ghosts, the tactical officer reported confidently. Their ECM is more advanced than expected, but... His words were cut short as 3 hegemony cruisers exploded simultaneously, struck by weapons fire that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Impossible, Cal Thor roared. No weapon can. The UEA's Phoenix materialized directly in front of his dreadnought, its tachyon cannons already firing. The Supreme Commander had a split second to comprehend that the humans hadn't been using tricks or deception. They had genuinely achieved what the hegemony thought impossible. Across the battlefield, human ships danced between dimensions, their tachyon drives allowing them to occupy multiple positions simultaneously. The quantum entanglement network enabled perfect coordination, turning 97 ships into a single distributed weapon system. Captain Santos guided the Indomitable through a series of impossible maneuvers, her ship's eye struggling to keep up with her intuitive grasp of tachyon dynamics. Target the dreadnought's power core, she ordered. Fire all weapons. The tachyon pulse cannon spoke, their beams arriving at the target nanoseconds before they were fired. The dreadnought's shields, designed to counter energy weapons, failed to recognize the attack until it was too late. The massive ship split in half, its death triggering a cascade of explosions through the hegemony formation. Sir, we've lost 40% of our fleet, the tactical officer screamed on Cal Thor's bridge. Their ships, They're everywhere and nowhere. Our targeting systems can't lock on. The Supreme Commander watched his armada being systematically dismantled by a force less than a third its size. Everything he knew about space warfare was being proven obsolete before his eyes. "All ships, retreat," he finally ordered, his voice heavy with disbelief. Full withdrawal to hegemony space. But retreat proved as impossible as victory. Human ships appeared along their escape vectors, cutting off withdrawal routes and herding the survivors into kill zones. The battle had become a massacre. On Earth, celebrations erupted as news of the victory spread. But in the command center, Admiral Volkov remained focused. This was just a probe, a fraction of their true strength. The real war begins now. Dr. Rodriguez monitored the battle data, his mind already working on the next generation of tachyon technology. "We've proven the concept works in large-scale combat. Now we need to push further. The hegemony will adapt, develop countermeasures." "Let them try," Volkov replied. "We'll be 3 steps ahead." Humanity didn't claw its way to the stars to be stopped now. As the remnants of the hegemony fleet limped back to their territory, the implications of their defeat rippled across the galaxy. The impossible had happened. A species had gone from pre-FTL to tactical superiority over the hegemony in less than a decade. On Centaurus Prime, Emperor Zarthax received the news with the first emotion he had felt in millennia. Fear, not of defeat, but of what humanity represented, a fundamental challenge to the established order of the galaxy. "Mobilize everything," he commanded. "Every ship, every weapon, every resource. The humans must be stopped before they inspire others to defy us." But even as the hegemony prepared for total war, humanity was already planning its next move. The defensive victory had bought time, but Earth's leaders knew that to ensure humanity's survival, they needed to take the fight to the enemy. In secret facilities across the solar system, work began on the next phase of human military development. Tachyon technology was integrated into new weapon systems, defensive platforms, and even more ambitious projects that pushed the boundaries of physics itself. Ambassador Sarah Chen, now serving as liaison between the military and civilian government, addressed a closed session of the Security Council. "The hegemony will return with everything they have, but we've learned something crucial. They're bound by tradition, by established doctrine. We're not. That's our greatest advantage." As humanity prepared for the storm to come, a new phrase spread across Earth's colonies and outposts. "They mocked us once. They won't make that mistake again." The galaxy had awakened a sleeping giant, and the age of human expansion was just beginning. The new galactic order. The vastness of space had become humanity's canvas, and Earth's children painted it with trails of tachyon fire. 6 months after the first Battle of Sol, the United Earth Fleet had grown to 200 vessels, each one a masterpiece of impossible physics and human determination. The XL Naga hegemony, for the first time in its 10,000-year history, found itself on the defensive. Admiral Katerina Volkov stood on the bridge of the UES Phoenix, studying the holographic star map that displayed the current state of the war. Red markers indicated hegemony strongholds, while blue showed the expanding sphere of human influence. The tide had turned, but the cost had been steep. "Status report," she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of countless decisions that had sent brave men and women to their deaths. Commander David Chen, Sarah's younger brother, responded from the tactical station. "We've secured the Proxima Corridor. The hegemony's third fleet is in full retreat. Our advanced scouts report they're consolidating forces around their core worlds." Volkov nodded, her expression grim. "They're learning, adapting their tactics to counter our tachyon advantage." Indeed, the hegemony had not remained idle. Their scientists, driven by desperation, had developed rudimentary tachyon detection systems and shield modulations that offered some protection against humanity's weapons. But for every countermeasure they developed, human ingenuity produced a new innovation. In the research labs of Luna, Dr. Rodriguez and his team had achieved another breakthrough: the ability to create stable tachyon fields that could transport matter instantaneously across vast distances. The implications were staggering. "We call it the quantum bridge," Rodriguez explained to the assembled military leadership via hologram. "Instead of ships traveling through space, we fold space itself. A fleet at Earth could appear instantly anywhere in the galaxy." President Elena Volkov leaned forward, her eyes sharp with interest. "What's the range?" "Theoretically, unlimited. Practically, we're still working out the power requirements for distances beyond 1,000 light-years." Admiral Volkov saw the strategic implications immediately. "With this technology, we could strike at the heart of the hegemony before they even know we're coming." The plan that emerged was audacious in its simplicity: a direct assault on Centaurus Prime, the capital world of the hegemony. Cut off the head, and the body would fall. Emperor Zarthax sensed the shifting currents of fate. In his throne room, a chamber that existed partially outside normal spacetime, he convened with the oldest minds of the hegemony. "The humans come," he stated, his multidimensional form flickering with agitation. "They bring change, chaos. They threaten the order we have maintained for millennia." High Orchestrator Villain, whose species had served the hegemony for 8,000 years, dared to speak. "Perhaps, Your Eminence, the order was always meant to change. The humans have shown us that our stagnation." Silence. The Emperor's rage manifested as a wave of psychic force that sent lesser beings sprawling. "There will be no change, no deviation from the path. Activate the Omega Protocol." Gasps echoed through the chamber. The Omega Protocol was a last resort, a doomsday weapon that would sterilize entire sectors of space. Even the hegemony feared its use. "Your Eminence," another advisor pleaded, "the collateral damage is acceptable. The humans must be stopped, whatever the cost." As the hegemony prepared its ultimate weapon, humanity launched Operation Prometheus Dawn. 100 ships, led by the Phoenix, gathered at the Quantum Bridge facility orbiting Mars. The entire operation hinged on surprise. They would have one chance to strike at the heart of the Empire. "All ships report ready," Commander Chen announced. "Quantum Bridge is charging. 60 seconds to activation." Admiral Volkov opened a fleet-wide channel. "Warriors of Earth, we stand at the precipice of history. The hegemony thought us primitive, beneath notice. Today, we show them the price of their arrogance. For Earth, came the thunderous response from 10,000 voices. The quantum bridge activated, reality twisting as space itself was folded like paper. In an instant, the human fleet materialized in orbit around Centaurus Prime, catching the hegemony completely unprepared. "Multiple contacts," the tactical officer shouted. "The orbital defense grid is activating. All ships, execute attack pattern Omega," Volkov ordered. "Priority targets are the defense platforms and military installations. Minimize civilian casualties where possible." The battle for Centaurus Prime was unlike anything the galaxy had witnessed. Human ships phased in and out of reality, their tachyon weapons striking with surgical precision. The hegemony's defenses, formidable as they were, couldn't adapt quickly enough to the humans' fluid tactics. But as the battle raged, sensors detected a massive energy buildup from the planet's surface. "Admiral," Dr. Rodriguez's voice came through the emergency channel, "I'm detecting quantum fluctuations consistent with a reality warping weapon. If they activate it." "Understood." Volkov's mind raced. "All ships, converge on my position. We're going to use the Hammerfall Protocol." The Hammerfall Protocol was humanity's most desperate gambit, linking all ships' tachyon drives to create a massive quantum disruption field. It had never been tested in combat. As the human fleet formed up, Emperor Zarthax prepared to activate the Omega Protocol. But in his arrogance, he had underestimated human determination one final time. "Now," Volkov commanded. 100 tachyon drives activated simultaneously, their fields merging into a single quantum wave that swept across Centaurus Prime. The Omega weapon's activation sequence was disrupted, its energies dissipating harmlessly into subspace. In the confusion, a small strike team led by Ambassador Sarah Chen infiltrated the Imperial Palace. They moved with purpose, guided by intelligence gathered from defecting hegemony species who had grown tired of the Empire's oppression. Sarah found herself face to face with Emperor Zarthax in his throne room. The being who had once dismissed humanity as primitive now faced a human woman holding a Tachyon disruptor pistol. "You cannot kill me," the Emperor stated, his form shifting through multiple dimensions. "I am eternal. I'm not here to kill you," Sarah replied, holstering her weapon. "I'm here to offer you a choice." The Emperor paused, confused by this unexpected response. What choice could a primitive offer me? The same choice you denied countless species, the chance to evolve, to grow beyond what you are. Sarah stepped forward, unafraid. The hegemony's time is over. But that doesn't mean your knowledge, your civilization, has to end. Join us in building something new. For a long moment, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Then, slowly, the Emperor's form solidified into something more comprehensible. "You would show mercy. After all we have done." "Mercy is what separates us from you," Sarah replied. "It's what makes us human." The surrender of the Excel Naga hegemony sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Species that had lived under imperial rule for millennia suddenly found themselves free. Many looked to humanity for guidance, and Earth rose to the challenge. The United Galactic Federation was established, with its capital on a neutral world chosen by democratic vote. Unlike the hegemony, the Federation was built on principles of equality, mutual respect, and shared advancement. Dr. Rodriguez led the effort to share Tachyon technology with member species, believing that knowledge should be free. The hegemony hoarded technology to maintain power, he explained in his address to the First Federation Assembly. "We share it to elevate everyone." Admiral Volkov transitioned from military commander to the first director of Federation security, her tactical genius now devoted to protecting rather than conquering. Emperor Zarthax, stripped of his absolute power but retaining his vast knowledge, became an advisor to the Federation Council. His perspective, spanning millennia, proved invaluable in navigating the challenges of galactic governance. Sarah Chen was elected the first president of the Federation, her journey from mocked ambassador to galactic leader embodying humanity's rise. Years later, at a ceremony commemorating the 10th anniversary of the Federation's founding, President Chen addressed a gathering of representatives from hundreds of species. "We stand here today, not as conquerors, but as partners. The hegemony sought to impose order through force. We choose to build harmony through cooperation. They saw diversity as weakness. We know it as our greatest strength." In the audience, a young Excel Naga student raised a tentacle. "President Chen, what would you say to those who claim humanity moved too fast, that we weren't ready for such responsibility?" Sarah smiled, remembering the mockery in the Galactic Council chamber years ago. "I would say that readiness isn't about how long you've existed, but about how willing you are to grow. Humanity didn't wait for permission to reach for the stars. We didn't ask if we were ready. We made ourselves ready." As the ceremony concluded, Sarah looked up at the stars, stars that now held human colonies, research stations, and diplomatic outposts. The same stars that had once seemed so distant, so unattainable. The galaxy had mocked Earth once. Now it looked to humanity for leadership, for innovation, for hope. The primitive species from a backwater planet had become the architects of a new galactic age. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, on ships bearing names like Hope, Discovery, and Unity, human explorers pushed ever outward, seeking new frontiers, new challenges, new impossible dreams to make reality. For that was the true lesson humanity had taught the galaxy. There are no limits except those we accept, no barriers except those we refuse to challenge. The age of human expansion had not ended with victory over the hegemony. It had only begun.